Two Parkies in a Pod is powered by Parkinson's UK, the charity that's here to support every Parkinson's journey every step of the way. Wherever you're from, whatever you need, visit parkinsons.org.uk for more information.
Hi campers, how you doing? Two Parkies in a Pod. Dave and Kieran here. We've had the dreaded leg for 27 years, believe it or not.
Yes. Wasn't it Sue? What was that lady's name? Sue Pollard, right? With the glasses.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You got a new pair of glasses, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm always buying glasses. I keep sitting on them and stuff. So they're looking very smart, these, aren't they?
They are, actually.
Quite good,
You're looking very intellectual.
Yeah, it makes a change.
Quite deceptive, yes, exactly, yeah. You all right, Dave?
Yeah, not bad.
What's been going on?
Went to a Cure Parkinson's thing the other day. It was good.
Yeah. Research.
PD thing, yeah.
Yes.
Tom Fulton and a few other people.
Yeah, the world's largest clinical trial of
26 million quid, isn't it?
Yeah, they've invested, led by our Professor Tom Fulton at UCL and Camille Carroll from Newcastle. Lots of investors, and they've already signed up 1,100 participants.
We'll show you how you can sign up in the show notes as well. Yeah.
If you meet the criteria, we'd urge you to sort of get involved in that, because they're testing 3 different drugs and in a more rapid way than has been done previously. So very exciting news in the Parkinson's world. Really
good. And, it's good to see everybody working together. There was a guy from Norway, someone from France, UK as well, working. It used to be like covering the homework, when you're a kid and you put your arm over your homework so people couldn't copy it and stuff.
Lots more collaboration.
Yeah, lots more collaboration.
Yeah,
it's brilliant for Parkinson's, and hopefully we'll get a step closer to cure.
Yeah. We went to another conference recently, didn't we? We were up in the Midlands.
Yeah, the Parkon,
Parkinson's UK annual conference. How did you find that?
I really enjoyed it. I was... It's quite overwhelming meeting so many people. It's incredible that...
Did you realise there was 1,000 people watching us on stage, both in person and live streamed online? That was a bit
you didn't tell me that at the time.
Yeah. It's a bit nerve-wracking, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fun though, wasn't it? It was really good. And
felt the love, right?
Laura's great as well, wasn't she?
Laura's fantastic.
From Neuro Heroes.
Yeah, everyone needs a Laura. Everyone needs a physiotherapist. Yeah. They haven't tried out her services. And the offer of 5 free classes, that's not easy to say. Please do sign up. We'll leave the link again, because it really is her services, their services, Neuro Heroes, is well worth trying.
Are you enjoying the coffee as well here?
Yes, you got a new coffee machine, haven't you?
Yeah, the other one broke. It started leaking everywhere, so I've invested in a new coffee machine. It's very good.
Yeah. Your wife made me a very tasty, I think it's a flat white, and with the frothy milk, and I think she was attempting a heart shape with the milk, but it didn't quite go right. But
out of order there. What's she doing? Heart shape to Kieran?
Dave, do you realise... Yeah, well,
You're the totty on the show.
Do you realise, Dave, we've had another anniversary recently?
Oh, really?
5 years.
What is it, darling?
5, not that kind of anniversary, sweetie. 5 years of us being retired, effectively.
Being economically inactive.
Yes.
Not very good, is it, that?
Yeah.
But
inactive in
to
many
celebrate
ways,
it,
yeah. Well, I don't know. We were talking the other day, and it just occurred to us that it's been 5 years since you gave up your job. I gave up in December, so just shy of 5 years. Just feels strange. It's gone so quickly. When was it you were? Well, actually, because you've had to now pay for your site. You're now paying for your Sky subscription, right? Yeah. You had it free all this time.
Free for 5 years.
Dave just got a massive bill through the post for the first time ever for his Sky. So, like the millions of others out there, you're paying a lot of money for your football and whatnot, right?
You've got to have your football, haven't you?
But it's so expensive.
Yeah, it is very expensive, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, really expensive.
Did you get that all sorted?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
But you're paying customer now, effectively. Yeah. That must feel strange, right?
Very strange. It feels like it's a big part of my life's gone. Yeah, but,
how do you reflect on 5 years post-retirement then?
I've kept busy, I do a lot of things. Play tennis regularly with you.
Yeah.
We do the podcast.
Yeah.
We're involved in the Parkinson's community.
You've got to have something, don't you?
You've got to have a sense of purpose. Yeah, it's important. So it's tough when you give up work, because it's a big part of you, isn't it? It's a big part of me.
And a big gap as well, financially as well. I mean, I had to retire at the age of 46, right? That's a big hole in my finances, because I was expecting to work for at least 10, 20 years longer. Yeah, I hadn't planned for that. And
your pension and things like that, I've started to eat away my pension now. I'm taking 25% out, tax free. You can take a lump sum out of your pension. I was lucky that I did put money in my pension. So
So effectively, we're dependent on our partners, and there was a survey out from Parkinson's Europe which emphasised the impact it has, and we'll share that again in the show notes. It's worth a read, but this condition has a disproportionate impact on the young in that way, right? Because we've lost out on many years of income, so just worth reflecting on. But I'm glad I did kind of give up work, and I was in the position of giving up work because sometimes when I get busy now doing this stuff, getting involved in research, and it feels like work sometimes, and get quite stressed and a bit busy, and I can feel my shakes coming on, and it takes a toll, doesn't it?
Stress is a big thing, isn't it? Huge in Parkinson's. Yeah.
And I see Helen when she's still working, and I put myself in that position. I think there's no way I could do that now. Just
energy levels, I think. Yeah. I find them really tired. I had a big day yesterday. I'm tired today, but
likewise. Likewise. I saw my nurse last week, actually.
Right,
which was nice. I don't know if she's come back out of retirement or what. I know she's working part-time now. I thought the last time I saw her would be the last, so I was quite pleased when I saw her again last week.
Was she pleased to see you?
She was, actually, because
right.
She said, it's nice to see some good news in with her patients, because it's the first time she'd seen me since DBS. And I remember seeing her before, and we were both resigned to the fact, I remember talking about it on this podcast, both resigned to the fact that, DBS effectively was, that was the option for me at that point, and we were debating it then, and I was in quite a bad way when I saw her last time, and she could see the change instantly in me. So that was nice, but, I don't know how much longer she's going to keep going. So, like we keep saying, nurses are a really valuable resource for the community, and hopefully she'll stay on as my nurse as long as possible.
You mentioned DBS there. Quick shout out to Charlie Appleyard, the boss of Sport Parkinson's, who's having DBS later this month. I think it would be great for him. It should work really well. He's quite dyskinetic. You met him the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I met him last week, yeah. He, what a nice guy.
Force of nature.
Really, doesn't deter him at all, does it?
No. He plays 9 handicap golf, and he's you see him line up a shot, and he has to sometimes go 360 degrees round to line it up. But incredible guy. Good
luck, Charlie. Good luck. Thinking of you, and hopefully, I think you might be in hospital recovering when you listen to this episode. So hope it goes well. Hope it goes well for you.
Yeah. This one's called My Amazing Parkinson's Story.
And it really is amazing. We've been sitting on this for a while, haven't we?
Just tell us about it. It's a listener, isn't it?
It's a what?
A listener to the show.
Listener Lucy, not her real name, because we're protecting identities here. We've changed some details of this story, and it'll become apparent why. This story's been sort of brewing for the best part of a year, and we debated whether to sort of share it or not, and she's debated whether to share it or not, for reasons that you'll discover shortly. But I don't want to say too much and give it away, but make yourself a cup of tea and listen to this one, because it's absolutely breathtaking.
Before we did this, we sought advice from Lucy's counsellor. We've taken every step to protect the identity of people involved as well, haven't we? We have. And we've played back recording, which we did last week, to Lucy to make sure she's happy with it. And, let's just go into it, Dave. It's an amazing genetic journey. Here it is. Lucy, welcome to Two Parkies in a Pod.
Thank you.
Just tell us about how you were diagnosed and when you were diagnosed.
I was diagnosed in the pandemic, so about 5 years ago now.
What was that like?
It was okay, actually. I did get seen. The GP marked my referral as urgent, so they just said if I didn't mark it as urgent, I wouldn't get seen. But yeah, it was okay. Face masks everywhere, lots of hand sanitizer, but they saw me. It was okay.
What symptoms did you have before you got diagnosed?
I was a runner, still am a bit, and I noticed that after about 10 kilometres, I was getting some sort of weird pain in my foot that I couldn't explain.
Just for 10 kilometres, yeah.
After 10 kilometres, you felt a bit tired.
Surprised,
things were aching. You thought, Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. I'm going to guess what you felt. Was it some sort of dystonia? Because I used to do that when I was running.
It was dystonia. But it's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
Because it didn't hurt exactly. It felt really uncomfortable. Mm. And I went to doctors and physios, and this is sort of about a year I was doing this, and nobody could explain it. I even saw an orthopaedic surgeon who said there's nothing wrong with the foot. And so for a year I was absolutely baffled, and gradually it was coming on earlier and earlier into the run. So I was maybe going 5 kilometres, just a couple of kilometres, and in the end I couldn't run at all. And then a year after, the dystonia had started. I didn't know it was called dystonia, but a year after that started, my finger started to shake. And it was on the same side as the dystonia. And the GP said, I don't like coincidences, and sent me urgently to see a neurologist. And that's when it got a bit scary.
Wow. Did the GP say Parkinson's?
No, they didn't say anything. They just sent me to see a neurologist urgently and gave me no idea what it could be. And that appointment only took 1 month to come through, actually.
Wow.
Which is pretty good for pandemic.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
And the neurologist examined me and said, I'm not going to tell you what I think it might be because it won't be very helpful, but I'm going to send you for a brain scan instead.
What?
She didn't want to scare me, I think.
Right.
But
Isn't not knowing... Well, I don't know.
It's even scary, isn't it?
Well,
It's
it
like sort of
was
Damocles
because-
hanging over your head.
Yeah, because she examined me and she said, I don't think this is benign. And you never want to hear a neurologist say that to you. And then she said, but I'm not going to tell you what it could be because I don't think that would be very helpful.
So you didn't have any inkling Parkinson's at that point?
You're probably thinking motor neurons and that.
I was thinking the worst.
Yeah.
I absolutely was. It was the hardest time. I had that brain scan. I had to wait a month for the results of that. And it came back clear and I was so relieved because until that time, I thought maybe it was a tumour or something. And
especially if she used the word benign, right?
Yeah.
It's normally in context of a cancer, isn't
Cancer,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Tumour of some description, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the most scary time, actually. It was really, really hard. And then I went for a DAT scan. And by then, I'd done a bit of Googling and worked out that if it wasn't something that showed up on the MRI and I was being sent for a DAT scan, this was probably what we were looking at. So I'd prepared myself. So a lot of people say they had a big shock on the day of their diagnosis. Well, I didn't. I knew by then, I'd worked out what it was.
So you'd been sent for a DAT scan and no one uttered the word Parkinson's to you?
Not that I remember, no.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, just did a bit of Googling.
What were the words? Sorry, Lucy, I'm afraid to tell you that you have Parkinson's, or was it more brutal than that?
No, it was pretty much as you've just said. They said, I'm sorry, it's Parkinson's. And I, by then, had worked out it was Parkinson's. And it's strange to say, but it was almost a relief. Because the worst thing was when they had said, I don't think it's benign. And I was left in the dark for several months, not knowing what I was facing. When I had the diagnosis, I knew then that it was serious, but it could have been a lot worse. And I think if you're going to get a degenerative brain disease, there are worse ones to get than Parkinson's. I don't mean
it's the best of the bad bunch, really, isn't it?
It is. I don't mean to downplay it, but
it sounds terrible, but yeah, right. Also, the certainty. I mean, you say it sounds silly to describe it as relief, but I've heard this a lot, and I felt it.
It was relief.
It was relief. You could put a name to it, and you can start.
And I felt much more positive after knowing what it was as well.
What age were you at the time?
I was early 40s.
And you had kids as well?
Yeah.
How were the kids?
They were primary school age.
Same as you,
Mum
Dave?
was 7 and 4 when I was diagnosed, yeah.
Similar.
Really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard, yeah.
And
they're too young to tell, really, that age, aren't they?
Did you tell your husband, did you tell your kids, try to explain it? Or?
Told my husband immediately that I got home, and I didn't tell the children for 2 or 3 years.
Because they were too young?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah.
And because I could hide it really easily, and I didn't want to... I just didn't want to burden them with it, and it was very hard to find the words to know what to say.
I heard a quote at the weekend that said that Ginger Rogers was just as good as Fred Astaire, but she did everything backwards in high heels. I think being a mother is like that as well, isn't it?
I was wondering where you're going with that, Dave.
Being a mother with Parkinson's is the same, yeah. Dancing backwards with high heels on, yeah.
And it's not just being a parent, it's just doing everything, being an employee. And
You're still working, right?
I am, and it's exactly as you say, you're doing what everyone else is doing, but you're taking... It's so much harder to do it.
When you hear other parents and mothers say, "Oh, I'm so tired," you know.
I know.
Little do you know, yeah.
I mean, do your because you live in quite a small town. Is it the sort of place that everyone knows everyone, and do your neighbours and the other parents know now about your Parkinson's? Or?
Yeah, it isn't a tiny village or anything, but I do know a lot of people locally because I do volunteering and because of the children and the dog and everything, and you get to know people. And for the first couple of years, I didn't tell anyone. And it was getting to a stage where it was really quite stressful because it was becoming obvious. My dystonia was getting worse. And when you're so limping along and it's hard to explain. And I had a few people ask me, have you got a bad back? Because I'm quite rigid. And are you well? Are you okay? And I got to a stage and I was like, oh, God, I'm just going to come clean, tell people. And now that I have, that's much easier. But I don't know everyone. And so the only time I ever get embarrassed about having Parkinson's is when I am around people who don't know I've got it. And I think I must look really awkward, or I'm fumbling to get money out of my wallet, or struggling to get my coat on, or dragging my foot. And it's just embarrassing. But if I'm around people who know that I've got it, I couldn't give two hoots.
Being a mother as well, you have deadlines, don't you? You have to pick up and
the school run, all that.
Clubs and all that sort of stuff. Was it hard getting your meds sorted for that?
Yeah, it was impossible. It was really hard because you can't be on all the time. And very quickly, I began getting wearing off. I think a lot of people go many years and don't get that, but I had it after 15 months. So I had my honeymoon period of levodopa was 15 months, and then I started getting on and off periods. And I can't walk uphill when I'm off, and I was getting dyskinesia when I was on, So it became harder to do.
And you kind of like think or suspect that's a quicker progression than others from what you've seen?
I think so, and we'll come on to talk about this, but I think my type of Parkinson's is thought to be slower progressing, but it's hard to know, isn't it? Because you've got nothing to compare yourself to. And it doesn't feel particularly slow progressing to me, but it does particularly affect the lower limbs. So,
which I think is quite common for women, as I've heard and witnessed, that lower limb, particularly dystonia and dyskinesia, the D&D of Parkinson's, seems to be quite impactful for women. Or again, I'm generalising, but
could you just pick up on the walking uphill thing? Is that because your weight goes back? Do your toes curl? Or?
They do, and it is much, much easier to walk downhill. If I'm off meds, I can walk downhill, but I can't walk uphill. So it's not very practical.
Grand old Duke of York.
Yeah. Well, often I describe Parkinson's as like walking uphill, basically. Just just putting one foot in the other. Sometimes it feels like a real struggle, doesn't it? Okay, so you talked about your type of Parkinson's. Do you want to explain what you mean by that and how you discovered your type of Parkinson's as well?
Yes, I have a genetic predisposition. Actually, I'm not sure if that is the right term. I got a genetic mutation. I don't know what the right term is.
Yeah, it's a mutation on your gene.
Genetic mutation called LRRK2, which
that's LRRK2.
Yeah, it stands for leucine rich repeat kinase 2.
Oh,
how impressive!
Very good.
Why the 2?
Don't ask me what the words mean.
Is it, was there a 1?
Oh, I can't find LRRK1 anywhere.
Oh, right. Didn't do well at the box office.
And don't ask me what the words mean. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. But go on, Dave. Let's test your genetic knowledge. What do we know about LRRK2, if anything?
Ashkenazi Jewish community, quite common in that. North African Arabs as well.
Uh-huh.
It tends to be genetic, passed through families. If you've got the gene, the mutational gene doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily mean the gene's going to express. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the dreaded P, but that's what I know about it.
Yeah, I think the Basque community as well. But the point is, it's quite rare in the UK. It's quite rare in Parkinson's itself. I think 1 to 2% of the population, Parkinson's population, have LRRK2 or the mutation or whatever the right terminology is.
We're going to get a professor.
We are, but in those communities, it's very prevalent, right? In that Ashkenazi Jewish population, it's something like 30% of people have. So 30% of people with Parkinson's have a LRRK2 mutation. So, and you discovered this because you did some genetic testing as part of some research, right?
Yes, my consultant, my original consultant, I didn't hear from her for about 2 years, so I got re-referred and was referred to Queen's Square under a new consultant who has an interest in genetics, and he asked if I wanted to be tested for genetic mutations, which might explain why I have Parkinson's at such a young age.
So it's just a coincidence that he's got a interest in...
Yeah, I think
right.
so. So I don't know if everyone gets offered this, but I was offered to get tested, and I said yes. And so it must have been a blood test or something, I can't remember.
So Parkinson's now 5 years, so this was year 2, was it maybe?
Something like that, yeah, it must have been about that.
Right.
And I just remember the results taking months to come through. And he rang me. He said something along the lines of, "We've discovered you've got a genetic difference." I think he used the word difference as a euphemism for mutation, because mutations are not
Sounds
very
a
nice.
bit, bit bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit alien.
Yeah,
doesn't
it does. It sounds really nasty.
Alien mutation.
So he used the word difference, I think.
Did he explain anything else?
Yeah, he told me what it was. Told me a few things about it. He said it tends to be slower progressing, and I clung on to that. And he said exactly as you've just said, that it's very rare in white British people. I think 1% of people with Parkinson's in this country have got LRRK2.
Right.
I say in this country, I mean people who are white British. And he said that it's much more common in other populations, Ashkenazi Jewish, North African Berbers, up to 40% of people with Parkinson's have it.
So not your background?
Not my background, which was really strange.
Have you got any in your family?
No.
No one else Parkinson's?
No. And I've got quite a big family.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that Catholic blood, I guess, not the stereotype. So just one more final thing about LRRK2. Are you less likely to get cognitive issues with LRRK2?
Apparently, although I think it's more nuanced than that, because the LRRK2 is the gene, but there are lots of different mutations you can get on LRRK2, and I have the most common mutation, which is G2019S.
Oh, that one, yeah. So very knowledgeable about this sort of thing.
That is the most common mutation, but the nature of your Parkinson's will depend on which mutation you've got.
Right.
But I think, not going into that level of detail, I think that LRRK2 is generally considered to be more of a motor symptoms illness and less of the non-motor symptoms.
I was reading a thing that you're more likely to keep your sense of smell when you've got LRRK2.
That's right.
Have you still got your sense of smell?
I have, yeah.
Oh. Weird, it's so strange.
Have you showered today, Dave?
Damn. So tell us the next bit of the story then. What happened next?
Well, nothing much. I just thought it was strange how I had Parkinson's and how I had LRRK2 and how nobody else in the family had it. And I thought it was strange how...
How did you know no one else in the family had it at that point?
Well, no, nobody had it.
Nobody had Parkinson's?
No one had... That's what I meant, sorry. No one had Parkinson's.
Right, okay.
And I began to wonder if it's because a lot of people smoke in the family, and we know that smoking can be neuroprotective. Or was it lifestyle factors? And it just sort of niggled at me. And then I wondered if... where was it? I think I saw on telly an advert for Ancestry DNA kits. And one of my...
Just explain those services for people that aren't familiar.
They're commercial companies that test your DNA. Online. So you basically send away for a kit and you spit in a test tube, send it back in the post, and then you get your DNA results online. And that will give you things like your traits, where your ancestors come from, which countries, and if there are any genetic matches on there, then it will tell you.
It's a popular thing to gift, right, for birthdays, Christmases and whatnot.
Yeah, they're quite popular.
So you were thinking of sort of doing this, and then you started sort of talking to your family about it. Is that right?
I didn't talk to. I did talk to the family and say, Mum, did your parents have any symptoms or anything? And Dad, did yours? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And around that time, one of my friends, I went for a coffee with her, and she just happened to get a phone out and said, "Oh, look, I just did this Ancestry test. It's really fun." And she showed me different traits that she had and where her family was from. And it's amazing. So much information. All you did was spit in a test tube.
It's scary as well, right?
Well, it wasn't at the time. It was just fun and it was exciting and interesting. And I thought, this is really cool. I'm going to get one. And I thought, this is fun. This is cool. And actually, it will tell me. It might help to shed some light on where my family's from. Because I thought if I go back 2 or 3 generations, maybe there is some Spanish blood, some Jewish blood, some North African blood. There must be. So I thought, well, I think I'll do that. So I did. And
if you don't mind sharing this, you told your mum, was it, that you were going to do this? And
yes,
she had a nervous reaction, is that right?
I hadn't planned on telling anyone I was going to do it because it wasn't a big deal. I thought, well, why should I? But I think I sent away for the kitten. It was just there on the kitchen worktop, and she came around one day for a coffee.
She saw it?
And I don't know if she saw it, if I just pointed it out. I just said, oh, look, I'm going to do one of these. Because I'm really curious as to why I've got this genetic mutation when it's so rare in British people. And I said, I'm sure I'll go back a few generations so it can explain it. And I just moved the conversation on and forgot about it then. Until about a week later when she...
This your mother?
Yes, my mum said to me and my brother, I've got something to tell you. And then...
what did you think at that point?
I thought it was very unusual to receive that message, and it sent alarm bells ringing. I thought that she was seriously ill, or something really terrible like that. And she sat us down, and...
You and your brother?
Me and my brother.
Was your dad there?
No. And she was very upset and very nervous. And she said, I have to tell you that your dad is not your biological father.
I mean... Obvious question. How did that... I mean, what was your reaction? How did you...
Bloody hell.
Yes.
It was literally unbelievable. When I say unbelievable, I mean, I think...
You thought she was joking or something? Yeah.
Well, yeah. We could tell she wasn't joking, but we couldn't take it in either. It was unbelievable.
So the guy you'd thought was your dad all these years was your dad, but not genetically your dad?
Not related to him at all.
Oh.
And what happened next?
Me and my brother just looked at each other and and my mum was very quick to explain that we'd been donor conceived, because of course your mind starts racing and you wonder if there was an affair or something. And then we had lots of questions. It turns out that they had been trying for several years to have children, and they'd been for tests, and my dad had been found to be infertile. And
this is in the 70s, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the days before IVF, so it wasn't an option. And I think the GP or the gynecologist or someone had suggested they use a sperm donor, and they had to save up, and they had several attempts, all of which failed, and they had used up all their savings, and they decided to give it one last go, and then they got pregnant with me.
And your brother is... The way it works is you can't be fathered by the same donor. Is that right?
You can be, but it wasn't possible in our case.
Right. So, and at that point, it slowly started dawning on you what the consequences of all this were, right? Your brother was actually not your brother, he was your half-brother.
Yeah.
And consequently, and this is what really brought it home to me when you told me the story, your dad is not the grandfather choked kids. But that didn't occur to you straight away. All these things took a while for things to, the implications to dawn on you. Is that right?
As I said, it was unbelievable at the time. And my knee-jerk reaction was, I hope he's okay. And my dad.
Your dad?
Because he wasn't there on that day. And
did your dad know that your mum was breaking this news to you?
She told him that she was going to tell us. And he maintained he didn't want her to. But of course I had unwittingly painted her into a corner, because if she hadn't told me, then weeks later I'd have found out via the DNA test. And
that was what was going through her mind, presumably?
That was why she told me, because she was painted into a corner.
So sorry, I've heard the story a few times now. I'm still blown away every time you explain it. Go on, Dave.
I wonder how your mum and dad's relationship is now after telling you.
That's a good question. It's not great.
Right.
I think they've kept the secret for 50 odd years, and they've never told anyone. And my mum said she always wanted to let us know. My dad wouldn't let her tell us. And that, as you can imagine, over the years must have placed some strain on the relationship. And he is still, I think, angry that she's told us, but she had no choice. It's very hard on them, and it's hard on everyone.
What's your relationship like with the man who you thought was your dad now?
It's ironically, it's brought us closer. I have nothing but admiration for what he did. I think that being from a Catholic background, brought up in a socially conservative Catholic country, to make the decision that your wife could be impregnated using another man's sperm.
That's a big deal, right?
It's a really, really big deal. And
in those times as well, particularly?
Yeah. I have so much admiration for him for going through that. And he was just desperate to have children. And it was the only way.
What a guy. Brilliant. I'm thinking from a man's point of view as well, I'm thinking,
You're thinking from a father's point of view, aren't you?
I'm thinking, you feel inadequate and things like that. You couldn't bar the kids.
Totally emasculated.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. That's not the end of the story, though, is it?
No.
Before we carry on, can you just tell us what appeared on the DNA test then? When you got the results, what happened?
Yeah, so...
Even a step before that, were you more motivated to find out at this point and do that test, having had your mum tell you this story then? I'm just trying to work out the sequence of events here. Your mum told you the story before you'd actually turned away for the test, is that right? Yeah, that's
true, she did, and I thought I'd do it anyway. It didn't change my decision. In fact, it made me want to do it all the more, because I thought I might find out where I'm from.
Okay.
So when you find out your donor conceived, all of a sudden, you don't know where half of you is from. And I would look in the mirror and think, who am I? Where am I from? And where did I get these features from? And is this from my father's side? And it's just does your head in. It's just constantly questioning who you are and where you're from. And it's the shock of it. It was such a shock. And I think you asked me a few minutes ago, you realise the ripple effect, the implications of it are that your children's granddad is not their biological granddad. And there are so many things that pop into your head. And for the first 24 hours, I just cried. And after that, I'd think of something new every few hours, and it would set me off again. I'd think that my nieces and nephews are only my half nieces and nephews. That my
cousins,
I've lost half my cousins. I haven't lost them, but half the people I thought were my cousins aren't my cousins.
Not at all, right?
And so that was very hard for a few weeks. And I thought at that time, I'm going to go ahead and do the DNA test anyway. It might shed some light on the big question mark whenever I look in the mirror, where am I from? And I just really want to know which countries I'm from and a bit about my roots. So I went ahead and I did the test.
And were you still sort of thinking about Parkinson's and in that context as well? And
I was. It wasn't the forefront of my mind, but it was a consideration.
I mean, this story is remarkable just by itself without adding the Parkinson's factor in there. But okay, why don't we go on to what's next? What happened? Sent away for this test, Nick.
Yeah.
How long do these things take? Out of interest,
I think it's about 6 weeks or something.
Were you just waiting for a letter to drop through the door? I mean, letter, I say.
An email.
An email to come through.
Yeah. I was.
Do they prepare you for it? Were you
no,
find out
they
at all?
really don't. And I think so. When I did the test, all I was expecting was it to tell me which countries, maybe you're a quarter this and an eighth this, and you have all these traits, and that's what I was expecting. And I knew that if you had any matches, it would say you've got a DNA match with so and so. But I thought that realistically, it might give me a few cousins or something. So
did a bit more than that, didn't it?
Yeah. When I logged on, having received the email, I went into it quite lightly, thinking, I'll see which countries I'm from.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah. And it gives you go onto another page to put in a password to go into the next page, which has your matches there. And I did think, might find a few cousins. And it just said your father and gave his name.
It named your father, your biological father, names. I mean, what goes through your mind at that point?
It was just another shock. It's just one thing after another.
Okay.
It just floored me.
What did it tell you about him?
It just gave me his name. It said you share 50% of your DNA with, and gave his name. And there was no doubt. It didn't say this person could be your
it says this is your
uncle
father.
or cousin or whatever. It just said father. And it just blew me away. I was not expecting it to be that easy. And as you said, they didn't give me any warning that this can be life-changing. And I think that it's very easy to go into these things very lightheartedly.
Innocently, right?
Innocently, completely, yeah. And you just get such big news. So then I was sitting there with the name of my father in front of me. And the big question is, what do I do now?
What did you do now?
I didn't do anything for a few weeks. I sat on it and I thought about it.
That's very, what's the word?
Measured?
Measured of you. I mean...
What would you have done?
Google.
What, immediately?
You'd been starting it, wouldn't you?
Straight away, yeah. It's easy for us to say these things, though, right, Dave? We weren't in that position. We're not in that position. So, I mean, what did you start imagining about... By the way, we're not naming individuals here to protect privacy here, but you're doing this all with a noble cause, aren't you? Because your particular version of Parkinson's, of all the genetic types, it is one of the more... I don't know what the right terminology is here, but you're more likely to... If you're from a family of LRRK2s, it's likely that there's a good chance they've got Parkinson's as well, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Why don't you explain what happened next? So you sat on it for a few weeks.
Well, all the while, I should have said actually that when my mum told us that we were donor conceived, she made it very clear that she didn't ever want anyone to find out.
I see.
This was a massive deal, a big secret they'd carried around for 50 years. And they had never told anyone, and they've made it very clear that they don't ever want anyone to know. So I've got that weighing on my mind at the same time as the name of my biological father. So I told my husband everything, of course, but...
What did he make of the situation?
When I told him that I'd been donor conceived, which was on the same day that I found out, there's the expression, his jaw hit the floor, but it literally... He just was agog. He could not believe it. And in fact, if it hadn't been so serious, it would have been quite funny. His reaction was utter disbelief and shock. He was like, no.
How many people have you told this story to?
I have told 3 friends, one of whom is you. So just 2 other people. And I've only told people who are not connected with the family in any way or not they're not local or anything. Hence my mixed feelings about doing this today. I want to get my story heard because I think that it's important to talk about these things, but I don't want to upset any member of my family. Where were we? I can't remember.
So
you've got your father's name on the DNA.
Yeah, you sat on it for a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I did start googling him sooner, but it wasn't the same day, I don't think. But after a little while, I did start googling him, and again, as sheer luck would have it, made it incredibly easy to find him. I mean, first of all, his name pops up on Ancestry. Secondly, he's got a very unusual name. So when I Googled him, there was only one person it could be.
You see a picture of him straight away?
Yeah.
Were you thinking, I've got the same nose or the same eyes? Or...
I thought I don't look much like him, actually. So...
Wasn't there somebody else it could have been? And
there was one person in America it could have been. But really...
There was one guy in the UK...
There was basically one person.
It's quite an unusual name, like you said.
It had an unusual name, and he, from everything I read about him, and he's got quite a bit of information online. One thing my mum had told me is that because she went to a clinic in central London, that a lot of medical students donated at that time, and so all she could tell me...
Pocket money, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more than... I think it's quite well paid, actually.
Is it? Right.
I think so. So all she could tell me was that he might have been a medical student. And lo and behold, this guy had been a medical student in London at the time that I was conceived. And like I say, his name was quite unusual. It was the only one it could have been. And so I thought I found him. And that was remarkably easy. I didn't think for a moment that I didn't ever find him at first. And it had been remarkably easy, too easy, really.
And you started finding out more and more about him, right?
Yeah. He has a CV online, and I read all about his career and everything.
So he's in the medical profession.
Yes, and that's all I'll say.
He has a family.
He has a family, yes.
He has several kids of his own.
Yeah, and he's married.
Now, at this point, I said something to you when you were telling me the story, because I think I started coming into the equation at this point, right, around about this time. I said to you, how do you know he's still alive?
Oh, yeah, you did.
And that hadn't occurred to you, had it?
No. I didn't know for sure if he was alive. And then you did some...
I went into my Magnum PI mode. Yes.
Magnum, yeah.
Well, to be honest, these days you can find out anything about anybody, right? Just unless you're careful and you want to, if you're signing up for stuff like you're going on whatever social media or any of these things, like you said, this particular individual published details of his profession online, and it wasn't very difficult to find, to be honest.
Put himself on Ancestry as well,
and he put his Now, you subsequently learned, and we'll get to how you learned this in a minute, but this was given to him as a present, right? As a Christmas present?
Yeah.
So, again, all very innocent, right? And perhaps he didn't really fully appreciate the implications of this stuff, right? Especially going back to the 70s originally, because he was promised that all this stuff would be private. There was no actual regulation around this at that time, was there? Unlike current IVF regulation.
Yeah, so prior to 1991, this was not regulated. So anyone could go and donate and their details wouldn't be taken, nothing would be recorded. After 1991, the clinic would take some non-identifying information, and the person has to register at the clinic. So it's you've got something to go on, I suppose, if you are looking for a parent. But prior to 1991, there was nothing at all. And then the law changed in 2005 so that donor-conceived people like myself, so that we can find our biological parents, they've lifted anonymity. So, which has huge ethical questions around it for the donor and for the recipient.
And you sought some advice on the ethics around this, right? Aren't you seeing, or didn't you see a counsellor around this?
Yeah. So, it sounds strange to say now, but when I was told I was donor conceived, it never occurred to me that there'd be any organisation online that supports people who are donor conceived. It sounds silly to say now, but it didn't occur to me. Yeah.
Through the NHS, right?
Yeah. There's the donor conceived register, which I only know about because one of the 3 friends I told about being donor conceived happened to be listening to Radio 4 one day and said, put the radio on. And there was a programme about being donor conceived where they mentioned donor conceived register. And I was like, oh, wow, there's an organisation out here. And they've been really helpful. I've had, through them, I've had a couple of free counselling sessions and discounted counselling thereafter. And the counsellor's been great. And we've talked through a lot of things. And I think some of the value of it is that they help to validate the feelings that you've got. Like, I don't feel any anger towards my parents at all, but a lot of people do feel anger towards their parents.
Your mum and dad.
For not having told them they're donor conceived.
That's
not the case with me. So I talked through stuff like that with a counsellor, and she's been lovely, and she's helped hold my hand in the steps I've taken to reaching out to my biological father.
And that's what happened next. Right?
Yeah.
Now, you tried to reach out through Ancestry.com to your named biological father. What sequence of events here? Was that based on the recommendation of the counsellor, or did you just do that independently?
No, I did that off my own back, actually, before I was aware.
And you wrote this long message.
You had his address and everything from Ancestry, did you?
I did his address, but on Ancestry, you can send someone a direct message via Ancestry. So I just did that, and it was a short message. And I agonised over the wording. I kept it succinct and just said that I thought that we were related and would be comfortable having some level of contact. Didn't hear back. Found... It might have been you that found, actually. It was LinkedIn.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to find people these days, it's not very difficult, especially on social media, right? Because at that point, I was still saying to you, how do you... Because you're 40...
40-something.
40-something, and, so just doing the maths, he's probably, 70-something. I thought, there's a chance that he might have passed away, and that might be the reason he hasn't responded. Whereas I think one of your initial fears was he doesn't want anything to do with me, and perhaps a feeling of, I don't want to put words or thoughts into your mind, but was there a feeling of rejection in any way?
Absolutely, absolutely, there still is. So, first of all I tried to contact my ancestry, then I tried social media, and I still wasn't getting a response. And I didn't know if it was because he didn't want any contact or if he just wasn't very good at staying on top of his social media accounts and didn't use them very much.
Just being old guy, he's not very online, not very...
And I think... so I thought that was the case. And then I still wasn't getting anywhere, and the counsellor put me in touch with a mediator, and via the intermediary I got in touch with him.
So I think what happens in these situations is you're more likely to establish a connection through a third party, through a mediator, right? Because it gives a bit of a bridge, doesn't it, between, in this case, father and daughter, and it allows contact, but one person removed, as it were. There's a go-between. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's a more gentle way.
Gentle, right.
Of getting in touch. I think that I didn't want and don't want to cause any distress to my biological father, and this felt like a sensible route to go down that would cause minimal upset. And so we did it, and she wrote him a letter. There was no reply. She wrote him another letter.
And I think there's a bit of the bit that you... First, can I just say, the way that you're recounting this story in this series of events is quite remarkable, isn't it? For something that's obviously very personal to you. There's been a lot of steps in this story, so I think you're doing well here. But there is a step that perhaps you might want to share in that.
Yeah, I remember one of the first things you found out was that he was alive, which was a really big deal, actually, because I had assumed he was, and then you said he might not be, and then you found out he was. So that was good. And you found a picture of my half brother online, and I looked at it, and it was remarkable. I'll show you in a minute. It was like looking at myself with a filter of a man on it.
And there was something your counsellor actually warned you about in terms of your particular connection with any siblings, right?
Yeah, they did say that some people who are donor conceived or have been adopted or something haven't grown up with their siblings, if they meet them later in life, there can be an attraction there.
A physical attraction between...
Yeah.
Wow.
Which seems very weird, but it's because they recognise something in that person, and that they have a deep connection, and this sort of gets mixed up with other feelings, I think. So that's all a bit strange. But yeah, so you showed me his photo, which knocked me sideways, and I can't remember where I was with the story now.
So you're back to the mediator now?
Yeah, mediator. I sent him another letter. And this was quite recently now. We're nearly up to date.
And this has been going on for the best part of a year now, hasn't it?
Yeah. And he responded to the mediator.
So your biological father responded to the written letter?
Yeah. Well, we had basically just asked him for some basic information, because I know by now he doesn't want any contact with me.
Sorry, how did you know that?
Well, he hasn't responded to the first letter from the mediator, and I just got vibes that he wasn't.
And how did that make you feel?
It is really hard, because I've got really mixed feelings towards him. It stings. I do feel rejected, and that's hard. But I also really understand his situation. He didn't ask for anonymity to be lifted. He went into this in good faith, thinking he was helping a couple out and getting some money for himself. And he never expected or wanted this.
Very young man when he did it as well. He probably hadn't got the chance to put his head round. Probably thought about getting the money and help someone. Fine.
Exactly that. He would have been early 20s, maybe. Yeah.
You didn't think in 50 years' time somebody's going to be reaching out to me on this thing called the internet to say, hey.
So I think everything's changed since then.
Yes.
And it's not his fault it's changed. It's not my fault. Yeah. We are both, I don't like the word victims, but we are victims of bad policy making.
Just explain that, Lucy.
Prior to 2005, it's the fact that donors were promised anonymity was so short-sighted. No one thought about the generation of donor-conceived people, those little babies that are growing up to be adults and have children of their own and need to know about their genetic biological roots. And I think there was less understanding in those days, the importance of genetics and why we need to know this sort of information. And most couples were advised to keep it very hush-hush, not to tell the child.
Really?
So, yeah, there's an estimated 100,000 donor-conceived people
in this country. Wow.
But that's a very rough estimate because no one will ever know.
No. It's quite incredible to think the amount of people that are in this situation. But again, you're doing this through the lens of Parkinson's and your lot too. So I think it's a very sort of noble cause in that sense, because you potentially want to alert that family, if I can put it like that they might be at risk, right? Which is actually quite ironic, because then you discovered some more details, didn't you, about your biological father?
Did I? Something that was you.
So your biological father responded to the letter by, was it calling the mediator?
Yeah, mediator?
And what was his reaction?
He was upset that I'd got in touch and has never told his family that he used to donate.
But you weren't the first person to reach out to him, were you, in this way? Didn't somebody else reach out to one of his other...
No, he's on Ancestry, the other one, but I don't think he's reached out to him.
Right, so on Ancestry...
I noticed I have a brother on Ancestry.
You notice that you have a brother?
Yeah.
And you suspect, is that right, that he is a donor-conceived brother by the same biological father?
Yeah, I suspect he is.
Right.
So my biological father got in touch with the mediator, said, I don't want any contact with Lucy, but here are some short answers to some of your questions. And he, because we wanted some medical information, what did his parents die of, what were their ages, etc. Just because it is useful to have that sort of information, see if anything runs in the family you need to be aware of, anything other than Parkinson's. And so he provided that basic information, which I'm really grateful for. I think he did the decent thing. He could have denied all knowledge. He could have ignored the mediator, but he didn't. He did the right thing. So I'm grateful for that, but at the same time disappointed that I'm never going to get to know him.
What did you find from that medical information then?
Absolutely nothing interesting at all. Nothing is lurking in there. As I think Parkinson's is the only thing.
So you're saying that rather casually. So he shared with you that his father, your biological grandfather, had Parkinson's.
Oh yeah, he did.
And he's passed on, yeah.
He was diagnosed in his 70s.
He was diagnosed in his 70s, right. And I think you'd worked out timeline that he died about 15 years after that, something like that?
I would guess something like that.
You were guessing, right?
Yeah.
But also, not only that your grandfather, but actually the guy you're contacting, your father, the donor, has now developed Parkinson's.
Yeah, he's just been diagnosed.
He only found out this year. And do you think he found out that he has Parkinson's because of your contact?
Oh, that's a good question. It hadn't occurred to me. No, I don't think so. I think that he was symptomatic and family urged him to get it looked at.
Right. But the timeline does seem sort of coincidental, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a coincidence.
Right. So your grandfather, your father, and you all have Parkinson's.
And there's a 50% chance that every child that he has will carry LRRK2 mutation.
And then beyond that, quite a high chance they will end up developing Parkinson's.
I think if you've got LRRK2 mutation, you tend to... I think there's a 40% chance you develop Parkinson's by the age of 80. So it's not a foregone conclusion. And there are lifestyle factors that may help to delay.
Yeah, and which is why it was part of your motivation to alert this family, alert them to the risk of Parkinson's, right? Because they could be doing things about it in terms of lifestyle, like you said, but also getting involved in research as well, right?
Yeah, I think lifestyle factors might help to... I mean, I think if I had been told that I carry a genetic predisposition to Parkinson's and these are the lifestyle factors the things you can do, that might just delay the disease, then I would have jumped at it.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know, and I will never know how many siblings I've got.
You know of the ones that you know of, if that makes sense.
I know of some, but I also know that my biological father donated many times over a number of years. So I think this is the tip of the iceberg. And
Might be walking down the street one day and pass one of your half brothers and me, not know, you know.
Yes,
Well,
exactly that.
I'm just thinking, I'd really want to give them a hug, you know. I'd really want to meet my half brothers and sisters.
Exactly that. And it's incredibly frustrating because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to get to know them and see if we've got anything in common and see if we got the same traits. And
do they know? Do his kids know about you?
No, they don't know who donated.
So they're at risk. So you've got the natural emotion that, you know, you want to know your siblings, but also you've got the quite noble objective of sort of alerting them to Parkinson's. So it's sort of twofold, if I can put it like that.
I don't think I can do anything to alert them without going against his wishes and contacting them. And I think that on balance, it is kinder to not do anything that will upset my biological father because I have a lot of sympathy for his situation. And I think if there was preventative medicine available, then that would be different. But I don't want to do anything that will cause him distress. For me, the next part of my story, because I don't think this is the end of the story, is I'm going to look for more half-siblings. And I spoke to the counsellor the other day about taking next step on doing that.
Half-siblings through his donor days?
Yes. So go to another one or two of the commercial...
I see. Because there are other services apart from Ancestry.com,
yes,
right?
Exactly. So to go to a few others, and so I'm on every database out there. And those siblings that I can contact in that way, to contact them and, among other things, alert them to the fact they might have LRRK2 mutation. And as Dave says, let's just get to know them as well.
Get to know them as well. I mean, it must be so tempting, but it's such a, I think, moral quandary, I think they say, right? You told your professor of neurology about this, haven't you? And from his perspective, because he's got research out on, I presume he wants to find these people and...
Yeah, I've actually got a meeting with him, my regular check-up next month, and I'll update him on all this then.
Right.
But, ideally, I think he would like to test members of my family because their data will be useful to help determine why some people with LRRK2 develop it early, like me, some people late, some not at all. So it's frustrating that we can't get that data from my siblings via the biological father's marriage.
If your biological father is listening to this right now, what do you want to say to him?
I'd like to thank him for what he's done so far, for getting in touch with the mediator, providing the basic information, and just tell him that I recognise the difficulty, the situation he's in. I have a lot of sympathy for it, and I completely understand why he doesn't want any contact with me, but it still hurts a bit, and it would have been nice to get to know my siblings. But I know it's not possible, and I don't want to do anything to upset him.
But your was it your mediator, your counsellor said what typically happens in these scenarios? This sounds a bit morbid, but after he passes away, things could change, right?
It is likely that in future, with more people doing these DNA tests, that
it's going to come out.
Something will probably come out, yeah. And as time passes and our parents, all three of mine, pass away, things change, and my children may have questions, they might go online. It is likely that in the not immediate future, in the distant future, things will change and that I may be able to make contact with them then. But my next step is to, as I was saying, reach out to see if I can find any other siblings that aren't via his marriage.
Aren't via his marriage?
Yeah.
The ones that are via his...
that aren't via his marriage. That,
yeah.
Donor.
Yeah.
And the ones that are
conceived.
via his marriage, you're just kind of resigned to the fact that you could make contact, but
I think
ethically you think probably best not to.
I don't want to upset him.
Must be tempting though, right?
Yeah.
Especially
one
as
of
you
them
know...
looks like me.
Well, from what I've seen probably a bit more than I've shared with you. They all look like you, to be honest with you. So,
do they?
Well, yeah, but that's why I don't know what to share with you. That's the thing, right? What do I do, Dave?
You can't share everything with her. You can't keep things like that. You could just...
It's a very
Say
strange
again?
situation.
You've got to share now.
I know, but it's a bit weird, isn't it?
No,
I sent you the other day.
She needs to know. I think you need to see these pictures, don't you?
But is this sort of stuff healthy?
We've had a conversation about this. We've had a few conversations about it, and it's a very strange situation that Kura knows more about my family than I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
somebody discovered one other coincidence that your brother, as in the brother you've grown up with, happens to work at the same place or institution, if I can put it like that, as your... I'm getting confused now. As your... One of the family members, one of the sons of your biological father.
yeah,
So your brother works with your brother?
yeah.
Oh.
But they're not related to each other.
But they're not related to each other because your brother that you've grown up with is from a different donor.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This all get a bit confusing. I feel like when you draw
My head's going.
Yes. Yeah. So what does your brother make of all this?
I haven't told him everything. I have said that I know the identity of my biological father, but don't really gone into much more detail with him because he hasn't done anything yet to reach out to his biological father.
Okay, right. So if I had here a photo of one of your brothers, should I be showing you or not? That's the thing.
I think we said the other day, I agree with Dave, yes, I should know it all, but just drip feed it gently because we had a conversation a few months ago and there was a load of information and photos and everything and I couldn't get my head around it all. So I think if we can go just to drip feeding it.
Yeah.
You can drip feed them now.
What would you do? What would you do, Dave? What would you want to do? Would you want to know all this stuff?
I can't put myself in Lucy's position because it's everything about it is just so crazy. For me, I definitely want to see. I'd want to see.
But are you just saying that because it's not happening to you? That's the thing. If it was,
I think because I'm quite nosy and I'd want to know, and it's part of me as well, isn't it? It'd be part of me. There's a chunk of me walking around somewhere, and I'd want to see him. But
the other crazy irony in all this is one of your sisters that you know of has actually got the same name as you.
Yes.
Which you couldn't make up, could you, Dave? That's crazy, Ray. That's absolutely...
It's been quite funny watching Dave's face throughout this conversation.
just when you think it's crazy, it goes a step even crazier,
I know.
Have you got a photo there?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Have I seen this photo?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Would you like to see?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Who is it? I mean, is it the brother I've seen a photo of or the one I haven't seen the photo of?
You haven't.
Okay. Apart from the hair colour, he does look a bit like me. Wow. That was quite something. Oh my God, I feel quite emotional.
He's a good-looking guy, if it helps.
Blimey. You can see the resemblance,
You
definitely.
can't you?
Show Dave the other one.
Right, yeah.
And the other one I was struck by, and I just thought there is no doubt he's my brother.
Oh, that's crazy.
And they're all quite. Their background is, let's say, in keeping with yourself, Lucy, in that they're all
He's a good-looking man.
good-looking, well-spoken, good family.
Guy.
All sort of medical, all from the medical profession, and yeah, I know it's a lot to take, right? I think you're doing well. I think you're taking the right approach, just to sort of.
This is going to help so many people who are in a similar position, you know?
It is.
I'm hoping one of the good things that might come out of this is that, I mean, I can't be the only person to have a diagnosis such as Parkinson's that then leads to being donor conceived, and it's a very lonely place to be. I mean, it's bad enough having Parkinson's at such a young age. There aren't that many of us. And then throw into the mix your identity being as just quashed, really. It's lonely. There aren't many people who can really empathise with you, and I would like to think that by putting a story out there might be some other people who now feel maybe a little bit less lonely if they're in a similar situation. And I think it's just quite nice to air it and get it off my chest as well.
I think it is. I mentioned this story to Dave, some of it anyway, and
not all of it.
Not all of it, no. But also, I mentioned this story to my mum, and she had this sort of real sort of emotional reaction, and words affected them. I'm putting words in her mouth here a little bit, but you're the one that's losing out in this story, right? I mean, you're the one that's kind of like...
Could be gaining from it as well, couldn't you?
Could be, but at the moment, her world's been turned upside down, right? Has it not?
Yeah, I think you're both right. I do feel like my life has unravelled in the past 5 years. Lost my health, lost some of my identity, my family. And I sometimes feel so sorry for myself. There's no other way to put it, just really sorry for myself. But I'm trying to look at it positively and see it as an opportunity to reach out to siblings and maybe make some connection with some of them to warn them that they might have this genetic predisposition.
I suspect this story hasn't ended.
And I think you're right. I think I will never know how many siblings I've got, but I think it's sizable.
Sizable. 5-a-side team at least, if not a... Well, we know he's quite fertile, right? So,
but I think your mum's right in a way, as the counsellor said to me and the mediator, that I didn't ask for any of this, and my biological father and my parents are all very good at keeping secrets, and that's their decision to do that. And it's a big ask to put that
more and more difficult for them
on me. So I'm now carrying around their massive secret with me, which is hard. And I think there's a line to be trod somewhere between keeping everyone else happy and keeping myself happy. And I hope that I'm treading that line by doing this and I haven't gone too far.
I just wonder about your kids now. What's your feeling about getting them tested and all that sort of stuff? Because I guess that's an option for them.
Yes, not yet, but
So what is the rules and law around this? You've got to be an adult, presumably.
Yeah.
Have your boys been tested, Dave?
No, because I hadn't got a gene. My father was 44 when he was diagnosed. Yeah. I was 44 when I was diagnosed. I was tested for LARC2. I was tested for Huntington's as well, which is in my family.
Huntington's.
Oh gosh, is it?
Yeah, in one side of my family. Yeah.
And you were saying some family members don't want to be tested for. This is sort of prior to the recent breakthrough in Huntington's, but you were saying some of your family members didn't want to be tested for Huntington's because there was nothing they could do about it.
Well, I've got a half cousin who, I mean, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this, but she was sterilised when she was 27 because there's no test for Huntington's back then. She thought she carried the gene. It turned out she was tested down the line, hadn't got the gene. Oh. So, her sister had it, but...
Blimey.
My gosh.
These stories are everywhere,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Huntington's is slightly different because it is more directly...
Got the gene, it expresses it.
Yes. Yeah. But the case of LARC2 is, very high. Again, the Parkinson's population, this is quite a small percentage, but if you've got that genetic variant mutation, then there is a high chance of...
Just to finish my story, I had my entire genome sequence. There's nothing.
Really?
I think there are 13 genes that have been linked with Parkinson's at the moment, maybe more, but I had none of them. So
Likewise.
I don't know what it was.
I was tested about 10 years ago, and same. No genetic variant that they know of, crucially.
There's a lot.
There's a lot that they don't know.
Yeah.
And also somebody said to me it's worth doing that testing again, because Dave, when you and I got tested was a decade ago.
15 years ago, yeah.
Exactly. So let's do it again, right? Because there might be some answers. New.
We'll get the genetic guy, the neuro professor, on about that, and we'll find out where you can get if you need testing, all that sort of stuff. Because I'm sure there's a lot of questions for people off the back of this podcast.
I think if we can get more people being tested, more young onset people being tested, it will be helpful in that for the individual. I know there's no preventative treatment, but they can start taking steps to ensure they're exercising a lot and take up smoking, joke, and drink lots of coffee, and generally, prioritise sleep and relaxation, fitness.
Yeah.
Would you have wanted to know if?
Yeah, I would have actually. I think it would have motivated me to try and look after myself a bit more, because I look back and I think I don't think I was particularly unhealthy, but I was often really stressed. I mean, in my 20s, I was burning a candle at both ends. In my 30s, I was looking after young children. I was often wiped out, often stressed, wasn't really prioritising my own health.
But what would you have done differently?
I'd like to think I would have prioritised doing... I've always been a healthy weight, but prioritised doing more exercise and eating organic food, stuff like this, that can make a big difference.
Would you have wanted to know, Dave?
When I was diagnosed, I'd got kids of 7 and 4 at the time, but I'm wondering if I'd have found out before that I had a gene, whether I'd have had kids or not. That's...
Whether you would have had kids?
Yeah.
I see, yeah. Like your Huntington's
family member. I think it would be a terrible position to be in,
Yeah. That's a good question, because that's a situation that our friend from the Pacific Islands was in STAR, if you remember.
One, yeah,
Pink one. High chance of passing it on. So, and they wanted to have more kids, and the husband had to get tested, and they're still waiting for genetic testing before having more kids. And she's very young. She's, I think, in her...
22, is she?
Yeah. And what's the right answer? I don't know what the right answer. How do you? I think
knowledge is power, and I would want to know.
Right.
And I think that it means you can get involved in research as well.
Yeah.
And if we're ever going to get anywhere with finding the magic cure, or even getting anywhere with treatments that stop or slow the progression, I think that medicine is going to become increasingly personalised, and LARC2 is a bit different to idiopathic, and is different to, every type of Parkinson's is a bit different. And we need people to be able to take part in trials. There are a relatively small number of us in the UK. We need to ensure that we can catch people before the motor symptoms start. And so that's those people who don't know they've got it often only find out when the motor symptoms start. So, just so we can get more people involved in research.
If I had some magic dust to sprinkle on you now and grant you wishes, what will you wish for?
I would like to eventually have some sort of relationship with my biological father and my half-siblings. Realistically, I don't think that's going to happen, but if I can make contact with some half-siblings outside of my biological father's family, so it's a very roundabout way of saying things, I can't think of a succinct way of saying it, but find some other donor-conceived siblings, then I think that would be great too.
Would it have the same effect as his kids, or
know.
meeting him, or connecting with him?
I don't know. I don't see why not.
Don't see why not, yeah.
Yeah, I think the strangest thing for me, the big unknown. So when the day I found out, it wiped the rug from under my feet, and I was a massive unknown, didn't know who I was or anything. But for now, I've got some pieces of the puzzle in place, largely thanks to my biological father's cooperation. But the big question for me, the piece that's still missing, a piece I will never know the answer to, and that bothers me, is that I'll never know how many siblings I've got, and I'll never meet some of them. And that's really hard. And there's literally nothing I can do about it other than taking steps to try and ensure that I'm out there on the databases.
Doing stuff like this.
And so that I'm raising awareness of being donor conceived, because being donor conceived is not talked about.
What? So more generally, why is that?
I think because when people of our generation, their parents were told it's best not to tell anyone about this. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a lot harder to tell your grown-up child a donor conceived than if they've known at a young age. So a lot of parents aren't doing it at all. Parents pass away, the child never knows the donor conceived. Or they know the donor conceived, but they don't make steps to go online to connect with others. Or they have no interest in connecting with others. So that number of 100,000 is nothing more than an estimate, and could be loads more than that. We'll never know.
Probably got a few Parkies in there as well, right?
Yeah,
would
definitely.
imagine.
And there'll be other
you won't be the only one.
that are passed down.
So how are you through all this? Because like you mentioned, the rug being pulled from under you, so I can hardly conceive what you must be going through or been through.
I think mostly I'm okay. My counsellor described it the other day as I live through the filter of Parkinson's, and that it impacts on every day, every aspect of my life, and it rules my life. But being donor conceived is something I compartmentalise, so quite emotional today talking about it with you both, but I'll be fine later. I won't think about it for days, and I'll get on with my life, and then next time I really think about it, it becomes very raw again.
Whereas you live with the Parkinson's, there's no avoiding
but the Parkinson's, I don't know, the Parkinson's is just, yourselves, it's constant. I can feel my fingers twitching now. And
my legs going as well.
it just never leaves you, does it? Whereas this is something that I can put aside for a while and then come back to.
Compartmentalise it a bit, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting. You're on a DBS journey potentially, right?
Potentially.
How do you feel about that?
I'm quite excited, actually. I'm
quite
struggling with the side effects of the medication. The other day, I don't know if you've noticed, I got a bruise on my cheek. I was washing my face in the sink and smashed my cheekbone on the tap. I fell down the stairs last night, fortunately backwards, so I went down on my bum. Whacked my elbow on the door frame. I'm a liability when I'm on meds, but I can't be without
Describing dyskinesia here, are you?
Yeah, just dystonia as well. But dyskinesia is probably more dangerous than dystonia. But it's miserable on and it's miserable off. I can't be without the meds. It's just horrible without meds. But on meds, it's becoming quite tricky as well. So I'm really hoping that I'm suitable for DBS and that it will make a big difference. It's encouraging to see how well you've done.
I find it very difficult to be impartial about this sort of thing, but you're in good hands at Queen Square, and you're under the same team that I'm under, and I'm sure we'll go through like tests and they'll come out with the best option for you.
I don't really know what to say now. I'm just blown away by your whole story. Just incredible, so brave of you to talk about it.
I think really brave, and we wondered about sharing this story, didn't we, Dave? Because what's the right thing to do here? But I think her intentions are very noble, aren't they?
I think so.
My only concern about sharing it is that I don't want my family to know that I've shared. By my family, I mean the family I've grown up with, because it would just be catastrophic. It would be awful. My parents would be distraught.
Are your parents, I think you told me your parents had fallen out as a result of this?
Yeah, they have. And I don't want to add oil to the fire. I think I just want to make things as easy as possible for them. And so I've said I won't tell anyone. And so hence the need to keep it anonymous.
But at the same time, having an urge to share, to want to connect with others that potentially part of your extended new family, and at the same time sort of relating to people of LARC2, Parkinson's, and genetics more generally, right?
I don't know that they would understand the need for me, the urge or the need, whatever you want to call it.
Who's they, sorry?
They, my family.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd necessarily understand the need for me to tell people and to get the story out. I think, so why? What are you trying to achieve by that? I don't think, unless you've been through it, and then you've got the double whammy of Parkinson's as well, it's very hard to tell people what to do or how they should behave. I think you've just got to do what is going to be helpful for yourself while not hurting others, and it's quite a delicate path to tread.
I think what feels right, if this feels right, it's right.
We've been talking for 2 hours now.
Have
almost.
we?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, how do you feel? Is this help, do you think? Or it's almost like a therapy session, I feel, right?
Yeah, talking to friends is like a therapy session, actually. And I'm very
Quite
glad.
a thing to carry by yourself.
It really is. And one of my friends I told, the first thing he said was he felt quite cross with my parents for expecting me to relaying this on me, and in the same breath saying, and don't tell anyone. He's like, you can't say that to anyone. And just hearing someone saying that and validating it, I feel sick because I thought I was being unreasonable. I wanted to tell people. So having friends and the counsellor validating how you're feeling and recognising that is so helpful. I mean, despite everything I've said and everything that's happened and how my life's come unravelled, I feel incredibly fortunate. I've got such good friends, a lovely husband, 2 great kids. I've got a lot to be grateful for, and I just feel very, very lucky. I don't sound it at the moment, but I feel very fortunate.
The one saving grace of all this, I think the fact that you've now created a new, closer bond with your dad.
Yeah, that's been something good to come out of this. Something really good, yeah.
What a guy.
What a guy. Yeah, what a guy, right? I mean,
He's an absolutely amazing guy.
Yeah.
And he's in poor health and getting on a bit. And yeah.
When you see him, give him a big hug from us, because he's some man for
remarkable.
one man. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well done.
To say I'm totally blown away by that story is an understatement. Absolutely amazing.
Wow, right? Just wow. There's so many strands to it, just so thought-provoking. But the thing that really stands out for me, we were talking for about 2 hours. Then afterwards we went to the pub and still continued the conversation effectively.
For another 3 hours,
For another 3 hours. And it just goes off at so many different directions, right? And she was so composed through the whole thing, right? Afterwards, she's a bit self-conscious about how she sounded, but she sounded great, very eloquent, to be able to convey that story chronologically from a year ago to up to date without missing anything or much of that story. Quite an art to be able to do that. And she was so composed, and she thought she was being a bit self-indulgent. Rubbish, exactly, right? I'm really pleased that she shared her story. I'm just going to fill in a couple of the blanks, which we didn't quite get to in that story. In the mix of it, she's discovered that she is actually a quarter Jewish. So not her Italian Catholic upbringing that she thought it was, from Eastern Europe. So that really helped answer some questions for her, right? Because
it really resonated with me when she said, "I look in the mirror and wonder who I am, and where I'm from."
What
you know,
a quote.
So,
but you can put yourself in that shoes almost, right? Yeah. And losing your identity in that way.
I think she was saying that cousins aren't cousins things. I think they are massively so, because
and even a dad's a dad. You know?
Because it's about history, isn't it? If you spent all that time with people, they're part of you. So it's not just about genetics.
And no one can take that away.
No one can take away. No one can take away the colours you had when you were a kid and all that from your parents. And it's difficult, but I think that you've got to remember that, haven't you? That all the time, the history you spent together with these people, they're still a big part of you.
Yeah, and she's got some answers now, which she's grateful for. And there was no anger there. She talked about perhaps being a victim. Well, everyone seemed to be a victim in this story, right? She called it a victim of policy. I think it's probably more a victim of circumstances. Just a different time, right? Just a completely different time. And she's trying to protect her parents, and she described it as all 3 of her parents, which I thought was quite poignant. But I think she's got the balance right, and hopefully that would have done her good and others listening to this good as well. So it was quite poignant when I asked a rather loaded question, what would you like to say to him if he's listening now? And she said, I'd just like to thank him. Because, she could easily have kind of been a bit bitter or said something else, but she just said, I'd like to thank him. Quite remarkable that she's able to reflect in this way and be balanced.
She's written a poem for us, which we're going to play at the end of the show as well.
Yeah, it's a powerful one. I wondered, Dave, there's got to be other people in this situation, right? And I wondered, the answer to the question, how do you get genetically tested, isn't a very straightforward answer. We were lucky because, we're treated at a research institute that offered it. Not everywhere does. I wonder if there's an organisation like Parkinson's UK that should be playing a role in.
Well, if you get involved in this research, excuse me.
Oh, that's
if you get involved in this research we were talking about at the top of the show, the parts of it they genetically test you. That they'll do it as part of the.
Oh, so people with who've got genetic variant are excluded.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you've got to have idiopathic, or as you called it the other day, empathetic Parkinson's.
It's just going to feel so much about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
feels so much for you.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the other kind of Parkinson's where it's not genetic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you may have it, but not know about it. So they'll test you and find out.
Well, that's a good reason.
Really good.
Yeah, just to get onto one of these trials. Absolutely, that's a good shout. Right, what are we doing? Have we got some cheerful news now to end on, Dave?
We have.
People with Parkinson's do amazing things.
Huge congratulations to former baseball star Kirk Gibson, recently at the Kirk Gibson Centre for Parkinson's Wellness in Michigan, USA. Amazing place. He's raised millions of pounds for Parkinson's, and he's built this centre where people can use it for free if you've got Parkinson's. Look, wish we lived in Michigan.
Wonderful. Has he got Parkinson's himself?
He has got Parkinson's, yeah.
Another sports star with the condition.
Incredible guy. And, he's raised all this money. There's a gym in there. There's counselling, everything.
Great.
In Michigan. So if you're in the Michigan area, use him. Brilliant.
Yay.
People with Parkinson's do amazing things.
Back in the UK, the Rob Burrows Centre for Motor Neuron Disease opened in Leeds, just 5 years after the rugby league legend dreamed up the idea with his consultant. The state-of-the-art facility in Seacroft is the first purpose-built facility dedicated entirely to MND care, research, education and holistic support.
Wonderful. There's another bit of MND news, isn't there, involving our surgeon friend?
Yes,
the
Neuro Heroes.
Explain that, Dave?
Yeah, Arith, who we had on the podcast, the brain surgeon, has just installed one of these chips that Elon Musk has designed.
Yes.
His company. It's Neuralink. It helps read brainwaves. So,
First patient being an MND patient.
Yeah.
Maybe some use in the future for Parkinson's. I don't know. But...
Potentially, yeah. It's incredible.
People with Parkinson's do amazing things.
A man's planning to climb 6 UK peaks in just 3 days dressed as a chicken for Parkinson's and mental health awareness.
Chicken?
A chicken, yeah. Luke Woodward, who's 24, from Martin in Hampshire, is taking on the challenge to raise money for Parkinson's UK in honour of his father. He lives with the condition. He also hopes to raise awareness of mental health.
Wonderful. Well done, Luke.
Dressed as a chicken, brilliant.
Dressed as a chicken, fantastic.
People with Parkinson's do amazing things.
Wildlife cameraman David Plummer has been working on the hit BBC show Hamza's Hidden Wild Isles. David is still shooting some amazing footage despite years of Parkinson's. You can see his contribution on the iPlayer. It was amazing, shooting owls in the dark.
Wow.
Incredible.
I didn't realise he was still working.
Yeah.
Quite a few years.
Amazing guy, yeah. Still a wildlife cameraman with years of Parkinson's behind him.
Well done, David.
People with Parkinson's do amazing things.
Michael J. Fox is keeping busy as ever. He's just released a new book called Future Boy about the making of Back to the Future. Michael, we salute you.
Yeah. How many books has he got now?
Hundreds of them. He's got a whole library full now.
I read somewhere his contribution now is surpassed $2 billion.
$2.5 billion, I think, now.
Yeah, blimey, right?
Incredible.
What a guy.
And he says he's still got plenty to do.
Good for him. Well done.
People with Parkinson's do amazing things.
Finally, it's good day to the unstoppable force that is Ed Marie Booth. I'll tell you why. She was spotted last week. You know that? She was spotted last week climbing over the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Oh, was that meant to be an Australian accent, was it?
Yes, mate. Checking out the prawn on the buns of you, baby.
Very good.
Right. Her son Kieran's a chip off the old block as well.
We're going to have to issue another apology to our Australian listeners here. Sorry.
Fair dinkum, mate, fair dinkum.
But she's down under, right?
Yeah, she's down under.
Football?
She climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge with her son Kieran, who's going to cycle. He's going to cycle back from Australia.
Wonderful.
To raise money for Parkinson's UK.
To the UK?
Yeah. He's going around the world on his bike. Him and his girlfriend, Kieran.
On a bicycle?
Yeah.
As in a push bike?
Yeah.
Around the world.
Yeah, it's Chippenfield Block, isn't he?
Yeah,
amazing.
Definitely. Rugby player, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully his fitness will...
He's quite a fit guy, yeah. He's a gym teacher and stuff, so yeah, a rugby player.
Very good, very good. And we've got a couple of poems to end with, right, Dave?
Yeah, one from Martin, one from Lucy as well.
Let's hear Martin Pickard's one.
Okay.
Hi guys, Martin Pickard here from Poets with Parkinson's. As always, big shout out for you two and the tremendous work that you do, including these shows. I've just finished listening to the one on the new statistics, and you made some excellent points. There's so much to think about in that podcast, I'm going to listen to it again. I was particularly struck by what you said about people with Parkinsonisms and the problems with multidisciplinary teams and lengthy diagnosis. I've recently had my Parkinson's diagnosis upgraded to include Lewy body dementia, and I was prompted to write this poem. It takes an army. I went to see an ologist because something wasn't right. He said it wasn't Parkinson's. Then again, it might. He sent me to an iatrist to analyse my mind. She came to the conclusion that my brain was in decline. She gave me medication that she said would be my saviour and passed me to an therapist for cognitive behaviour. The nose consultant grunted at my loss of sense of smell, and a poddy something iatrist checked the way I walk as well. An ologist on sleeping made me spend a night in bed with cameras and cables all connected to my head. He diagnosed a sleep disorder known as RBD. My vivid dreams, a clue it seems that this applied to me. But none of these had yet addressed the stiffness in my joints. A neurophysiotherapist soon covered off those points. A gastro geezer checked my gut and called a dietitian, who gave the usual lecture for a man in my condition. My skin required an ologist, but of the derma kind, and a urologist stuck a finger right up my... Behind all these conditions, all the ologists agreed that my problems must have all been caused by Parkinson's indeed. I thought this diagnosis had concluded my adventure, when another flipping iatrist told me I got dementia. 5 ologists, 4 iatrists, 3 therapists and teams, a pharmacist to manage 20 pills a day, plus creams, the PD nurses, who provide the best advice of all, and bless my darling wife and kids who catch me when I fall. The fundraisers and researchers, the volunteers and friends, the PUK support groups. The story never ends. The Parkinson's communities, a massive, loving army. But all the leapingologists still drive me chuffing balmy.
Very good, very good.
How good was that?
Gastro geezer, eh? Feel for you, Martin, but in all of that, he was able to point out the support of the community, family, nurses, all the things that we keep talking about, right? The important stuff.
And he's getting loads of attention as well, loads of ologists looking at him, which is good news, isn't it?
Yes.
When the NHS is stressed.
Poking and prodding him. Yeah. Good luck, Martin. Thanks for sharing your poem and your update.
And just to finish off, Lucy, who we heard in the podcast, has had a bit of time to reflect on our interview, which was a week ago, and she's decided that she wanted to write a poem about it, so she wrote us a poem, and we're going to finish the show with it, so should we hear it?
Let's hear it.
Finding out who I'm not. LRRK2 gene variants are a rarity in Brits diagnosed with PD, so why me? I look in the family and find no one else like me, but a DNA kit from Ancestry could further trace my family. Keen to give it a try, online I click buy. I mentioned my mum casually, but I plan to use Ancestry. Distraught, she comes to me, has something to tell me. Your dad isn't your biological father, Lucy. What? Time stops. But he's got to be. He even looks like me. Actually, does he really? Then who is he? Sperm donated anonymously. The lengths they went to, and I never knew. My dad, my heart aches for him, his quiet strength within. I go to him immediately, tell him nothing's changed for me. It's only later, alone, that it really hits home. Sperm donated anonymously. I've lost my identity. Grief overwhelms me. In the mirror, not sure who I see. I'll probably never know who made me, and I'm not related to half my family. I've opened Pandora's box unwittingly. All I wanted to know was why I have PD.
What a woman.
What a woman. What a story, and thanks for sharing. And if you want to send us your poems or messages or photos or whatever you like, if it's clean, obviously.
Doesn't have to be clean, we just won't play it.
hello@twoparkiesinapod.com. You can reach out to us on social media as well. And please do rate, review and subscribe to us on your favourite podcast player. It really does help us and others find the podcast as well. Thank you. See you next time.
See you, bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Two Parkies in a Pod, a Parkinson's podcast with Dave and Kuan. To get in touch, visit the website twoparkiesinapod.com or send your voice notes or emails to hello@twoparkiesinapod.com.